Good morning, students of class 10. Today we will discuss about the fifth type of chemical reaction, that is oxidation and reduction reaction. So firstly we will start from the oxidation reaction. Oxidation reaction, students, a chemical reaction in which addition of oxygen or removal of hydrogen takes place is called oxidation reaction. For example, when copper react with oxygen to form copper oxide. In this case, copper combined with oxygen to form copper oxide. So it is addition of oxygen and called oxidation reaction. Similarly, what is reduction reaction? Reduction reaction means a chemical reaction in which addition of hydrogen or removal of oxygen takes place is called reduction reaction. It means reduction reaction is just opposite of oxidation reaction, in which hydrogen is added and removal of oxygen takes place. Now, both oxidation and reduction reaction can occur in a chemical reaction together. This type of chemical reaction is called redox reaction. It means in redox reaction, both the oxidation as well as reduction takes place together. With the help of example, see here, when copper oxide react with hydrogen on heating, it produce copper and water. In this reaction, copper oxide changes into copper. How it changes into copper? By the removal of oxygen. When copper oxide remove oxygen to convert into copper. And it means the removal of oxygen is called reduction reaction. It is written here, copper oxide changes into copper by removing oxygen from it. And from the definition, it is reduction reaction. Removal of oxygen is reduction reaction. It means कि copper oxide reduced to copper. Copper oxide reduced to copper. And which reaction is taking place? Reduction. Why? Due to removal of oxygen. Second point is when hydrogen changes into H2O. How it is possible? H2 changes into H2O by adding oxygen to it. And the addition of oxygen is called oxidation reaction. It means कि when hydrogen changes into water, addition of oxygen taking place, and addition of oxygen is called oxidation reaction. It means कि H2 oxidized into H2O. And we can see here both oxidation and reduction reactions takes place together in a chemical reaction. It means this chemical reaction, we can say that it is an example of redox reaction. It is an example of redox reaction. With the help of another example, we will also clear the redox reaction. That is, when hydrogen sulfide react with iodine to form hydrogen iodide and sulfur. In this reaction, hydrogen sulfide, see here, hydrogen sulfide changes into sulfur by the removal of hydrogen. When hydrogen sulfide remove hydrogen to changes into sulfur, and removal of hydrogen is called oxidation reaction from their definition. Similarly, iodine is changes into hydrogen iodide. By addition of hydrogen to iodine, iodine changes into hydrogen iodide. So addition of hydrogen is called reduction reaction. It means in this reaction also the oxidation as well as reduction takes place together. This is also an example of redox reaction. One another example we have also, that is when zinc oxide heated with carbon to form zinc metal and carbon monoxide gas. In this reaction, see, When zinc oxide remove its oxygen to changes into zinc. Removal of oxygen is called reduction reaction from their definition. And again, carbon changes into carbon monoxide by the addition of oxygen to the carbon. So, addition of oxygen means oxidation reaction. It means carbon is oxidized to carbon monoxide, and zinc oxide remove the oxygen. It means zinc oxide reduced to zinc, and by this way we can say that both the oxidation and reduction reaction takes place together in this reaction, hence it is also an example of redox reaction. Now we will discuss about the oxidizing and reducing agent. What is called oxidizing and reducing agent? Oxidizing agent, the substance which gives oxygen for oxidation and removes hydrogen is called oxidizing agent. Similarly, reducing agent means the substance which gives hydrogen for reduction and remove oxygen is called reducing agent. With the help of example, see here, when hydrogen sulfide react with chlorine to form sulfur and hydrogen chloride. In this reaction, hydrogen sulfide changes into sulfur by the removal of hydrogen. Removal of hydrogen means oxidation reaction. Similarly, chlorine changes into HCl by addition of hydrogen, and addition of hydrogen is called reduction reaction. In these two reactions, oxidation and reduction, here H2S is act as reducing agent and chlorine is act as oxidizing agent. Why this is? Because H2S supplying hydrogen for chlorine, hydrogen sulfide is a reducing agent. Similarly, chlorine remove hydrogen from hydrogen sulfide. Hence, chlorine is oxidizing agent because it removes hydrogen from hydrogen sulfide, so it is act as an oxidizing agent. In general, students, we can understand that here oxidation takes place, so it is reducing agent, and in place of chlorine, reduction takes place, so this is an oxidizing agent. Because oxidizing agent itself reduce and reducing agent they are itself oxidized. In case of metals and non-metals, addition of non-metal and removal of metal is called oxidation reaction. Addition of non-metal and removal of metal is oxidation reaction, and just opposite of that, addition of metal or removal of non-metal is reduction reaction. So remember it also. In some reactions, if the hydrogen and oxygen are not present, only the metals and non-metals. Now we will discuss about the effects of oxidation in our life. There are two main effects of oxidation on metals as well as on the food material. That is called corrosion of metal and rancidity. What is this corrosion of metal? Corrosion of metal means metals are eaten up by the action of air, by the gases like carbon dioxide, like hydrogen sulfide, like moisture, oxygen, as well as by the chemicals like acids, and they are corrode, means damaged. That is called corrosion of metals. For example, like iron, when exposed for a long time in oxygen, in moist air, the reddish brown substance covered over the iron metal. That is called rust. And this process is called rusting of iron. In case of other metal also, metals are corrode. For example, like copper, they react with the carbon dioxide and to form a layer of greenish layer over the copper metal. As well as you have also seen in the silver metal, after a long time of use, it looks like blackish. Why? Due to the corrosion. When silver ornaments or silver metal react with the hydrogen sulfide which is present in air in a little amount. A layer of silver sulfide is formed over the silver metal, so it looks like blackish. These all are the examples of corrosion of metals. So it is written here, when metals are eaten up by the action of air, moisture, gases like carbon dioxide, hydrogen sulfide, and chemicals. In acids, they are included. This is called corrosion of metals. And particular, the rusting of iron is what? When iron metal is left in moist air for a long time, a reddish brown substance covered over the iron metal. And this reddish brown substance is called rust. And this process is called rusting of iron. This is called rusting of iron. A formula of rusting of iron is given here. When iron object react with oxygen and moist air, here XH2O means the water molecules are not fixed, so we will use X water molecule. It may be more or less. So when these iron objects react with oxygen and water molecules to form a reddish brown substance whose formula is Fe2O3 and XH2O. This is called hydrated iron 3 oxide. Its name is hydrated iron 3 oxide, and generally we will call it rust. So the formula of rust is this one, and reaction rusting of iron is this. Chemical reaction is for rusting of iron. Now one second is also when the food is also damaged by the oxidation. It is called rancidity. So rancidity means the fats or oils present in the food are oxidized with the help of oxygen of air, and this process is called rancidity. How we can prevent the rancidity? You have noticed that when we will keep the prepared food for a long time, it starts giving unpleasant smell or taste. This is called rancidity. How we can prevent the rancidity? There are two, three ways are given here by which we can prevent the food material from the rancidity. That are, first one is by adding antioxidant. Antioxidants may be chemicals or may be substance which prevent the oxidation of fats and oils present in the food. So we will mostly use the antioxidant, that is BHA or BHT. Full form of BHA is butylated hydroxyanisole, and BHT means butylated hydroxytoluene. These two are act as antioxidant. Second way is by packaging the food with the nitrogen gas. As we know, nitrogen gas is very unreactive. So when the nitrogen gas is filled inside the chips packets, it prevents the oxidation of food material or oxidation of fats and oil of present in the food. And by this way, we can also prevent the rancidity. Third way, by kept the food material in the refrigerator at a very low temperature inside that, as well as by storing the food material in the airtight containers. So these are the ways by which we can prevent the food from the rancidity. Students, now the chapter is finished. So I hope you understood the chapter. Thank you.